SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
You're listening to Sports Talk Mississippi On Demand, presented by Pearl River Resort. Escape to Choctaw, Mississippi and enjoy world-class gaming, the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, and Geyser Falls Water Park. Escape to Pearl River Resort.
Sports Talk Mississippi is on the air. Sports Talk Mississippi is powered by C Spire. Power your home or business with C Spire Fiber. To learn more, visit supertalk.fm/C Spire. C Spire Fiber powers Super Talk Mississippi. To the junction, in the Grove, and to the top. This is Sports Talk Mississippi. On your radio and in the game, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
We'll do the regular intro and all that stuff coming up here in a little bit. We had to throw a curveball. We have a leadoff man today. Ross Dellenger joining us right now. Sports Talk Mississippi on this Wednesday. Borkey and Hadad with you as we always are. But we go to the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Bureau. So since we signed off yesterday, the SEC put out that there was a unanimous vote that they're going to ban essentially former pros from coming back to college. And we also know what that penalty structure is going to be from the SEC. But now there's a new layer as we welcome Ross in. Yesterday, Ross, the vote was unanimous. All 16 presidents voted in favor of the SEC's new rule. Today, they had some kind of second vote. LSU abstained from that vote. It was still unanimous with one abstaining. What caused the change from LSU voting yes yesterday and not voting at all today?
Well, I can only guess, and I would say that, yesterday's vote was just a simple, I think, do you want pro players prohibited from playing in the league? And today was what I would call very, very stiff penalties attached to that. And given the fact that LSU is exploring in a serious manner adding to their roster players who would be ineligible under the policy, and thus they would be at the other end of this, these penalties, these very strong penalties, which are a 50%, a half-season suspension for a coach and a 50% fine of your athletic budget. And then Greg Sankey has kind of unilateral authority, to make whatever other sanctions he wants. I think it probably makes sense that the program trying to recruit pro players to the roster would be against that, those stiff penalties. So I assume that's part of what happened, but only my assumption there.
So, this is a loaded question. I'm sure you're asking around and writing about it. It certainly seems like the SEC and the Big Ten and others think that these conference-specific penalties can and will stick. Do you believe that to be the case? We want to hold you to it, but do you think that the SEC is going to be able to defend this rule and prevent Daquan Wright from playing for LSU this year?
Well, it is going to be really interesting because I think there have been sort of court decisions in the past around conference-only type of policies where they survived and conferences were allowed to police their own members based on their own bylaws. So if you look at precedent, perhaps they will survive. But those precedential cases didn't involve really, I don't think, eligibility. They involved other things, and they were in other leagues. So this is a first. We'll see if this stands up to a court. What I assume will happen, and what the attorneys told me yesterday that are representing these players in Louisiana said, is they do plan on filing some kind of legal challenge, or at least are exploring seriously a legal challenge to to challenge the conference rule, just like they challenged the NCAA rule and got an injunction. They'll just do the same with the conference rule. And I just don't see how a Baton Rouge parish judge would rule differently just because it's a conference rule and not an NCAA rule. Or any state court judge probably that may or may not have bias, in making a ruling. But we'll see. We're going to see if this is kind of the first test of this sort of long discussed self-governance model that many of the leagues have explored doing, that the SEC right now in meetings in Birmingham is exploring, which is create your own rules for your league and enforce those rules from your league. And so it's kind of a governance breakaway from the NCAA. And again, in theory, it's supposed to limit lawsuits and other legal challenges.
What is the difference from a legal and eligibility, whatever kind of perspective, from a player like Daquan Wright, who was in an NFL training camp on Sunday, and a player like Mississippi State's Jerron Manning, who I believe received a tryout as an undrafted free agent, never made a roster, never signed a contract? If this call comes to pass, is a player like Wright ineligible and a player like Manning eligible?
Yes, from what I understand, that is the case. There's I believe in sort of an outlet or loophole in the new policy in the Big Ten and in the SEC that would allow a player to participate in a tryout with an NFL team or a mini camp and then come back. So that there is an alley there for that to happen. I suspect that loophole could be closed next year with modifications to the rule, an amendment to the rule. I think that loophole was kind of kept open this year because programs already did. Number one, programs have already signed those players that were on minicamp. You mentioned the Mississippi State player, but also Texas did the same. UCLA did the same. So you already have some players that already signed. And look, you already have players who signed professional contracts too. But I think there's just been sort of flexibility offered to players who have just sort of tried out and been at the minicamp level. But I wonder if that will be closed in future years. You have to remember a lot of these players are coming back because the NCAA made this rule change from 4 seasons of eligibility to 5 and didn't grandfather those players in for a 5th year. And that will be the case next year.
What does the rest, the league office and the rest of the SEC think about LSU considering, they're the players for LSU suing the league? What does the rest of the league think about it?
Oh, I think they love it. No, not really.
I thought you were going to say they love it because it makes them look like a clown show or something like that.
Yeah. No, there is some, I would say, a very, very high level of frustration, bitter feeling, animosity toward the decisions being made at LSU. And I think that this rule this week was not just targeting one school, but, LSU is doing this at a fairly aggressive clip. And, I think they were a big part of the rule change, the rule being changed. And, all indications that at least I've gotten from Baton Rouge is that they are, for now, going to keep going with sort of the intentions to sign these players. So it'll be curious of what the next step will be. And I kind of wrote a column about this yesterday is will the league sue LSU to impose and enforce its bylaws? And I think we saw Texas Tech do that the Big 12 do that against Texas Tech over the Brendan Sorsby debacle in June.
You know what they say about biting the hand that feeds you.
Yeah. it doesn't seem real smart, but LSU people will say this is a injunction. It's a court order, and the players are just following court order. If they want to sue the SEC, which is what they might do, as I talked about earlier, then that's their prerogative. But a big missing piece of that is that these players have to have a place to go, and they have to have a roster spot. So you're clearly, LSU and some other programs too, are reserving roster spots for these players. And I think I reported last week that this Louisiana case, eligibility case, originated from LSU's campus. So all of that is known by the league office, and all of that is known by the other members. And you can imagine they're pretty ticked off about it all.
30 seconds, Ross. So just a yes or no answer. The other professional leagues for basketball, does this affect the Euros?
It depends on where they played exactly, I believe. I have to go back to exactly the SEC rule, I believe. I think it covers G League players, covers draftees in the NBA. Mm-hmm. It may not completely cover players who have played overseas. It does cover NBA affiliates as well. I don't know that it extends to international players. I don't think so.
Ross Dellenger, Yahoo Sports. Nailed it. Thanks, man. Talk to you later.
All right, guys. See y'all.
Take the friggin' wax out of your ear. Did you hear me?
This is Sports Talk. Sports Talk, Mississippi.
Woo! What do you say, sports fans?
Now, here's more on Super Talk, Mississippi.
All right, Borkey and Hadad, Sports Talk, Mississippi.
We're in the Pearl River Resort studios.
Yes, we are.
PearlRiverResort.com is the place to book your next exciting weekend. Playing golf, eating great food, enjoying live entertainment, having great family fun, just relaxing. Do it all at Pearl River Resort. PearlRiverResort.com. Book your stay right now. C-Spire text line is open to you, and it is already moving. 601-879-4395. With C-Spire, it's easier than ever to get all the devices you want in one move with the Ultimate Connect bundle. Right now, new and current customers get a free phone, watch, and tablet, plus 100 gigs of data for just $90. That includes the new iPhone 17 or the Samsung Galaxy S26 for free, and a free smartwatch and tablet to go with it. So don't wait. There's more to see. Visit cspire.com or stop by your local C-Spire store today. C-Spire, inspired by you. Are we jumping in now? What are we doing here?
Let's finish this. We got some text to get to, and then we can...
begin what we're doing.
How does this affect the basketball players currently on SEC teams that played in other professional leagues? So the SEC's directive does not mention European leagues at all. It's G League, it's domestic stuff. Like Comardine at Ole Miss, he's going to get to play this year. He never declared for the NBA draft, didn't play for a G League team. He's going to get to play. Like you don't have to worry about that. State's got at least one guy that played Euro basketball but never declared for the draft.
No,
he left.
Yeah.
Well, he would have been
eligible.
He would have been able to play.
Yeah.
So there you go. Not sure if you addressed it, but why is baseball exempt? I don't know if it's necessarily exempt. I have a feeling that they are just working on the more immediate, pressing sports. Cut day in the NFL is... Four days away now? 5 days away?
The main reason is now that Vitello's gone, all the coaches have dignity.
Well,
so, yes, it's less of an issue. O'Connor and Bianco aren't looking to be jerks.
Yeah, and there's some kind of deadline coming up in basketball as well. These were immediate. Football and basketball had to be addressed right now, whereas they can spend a little bit more time on baseball, would be my theory anyway. I don't know that for sure, but that would be my theory.
Yeah.
What the SEC and Sankey is saying in their ruling, no matter what a Louisiana judge says they can play or not, the SEC smartly said the university and coaches will suffer extreme penalties and forfeits, etc. Yes. And again, that's going to get challenged in court. These players apparently are going to just double and triple down on this with the approval of LSU. I have a feeling this runs all the way up to the governor's office. because nothing is serious anymore. But it sounds like, we'll see exactly what happens. It sounds like this won't have to get tried and settled in just a Baton Rouge court.
No.
This will go higher.
Yeah.
And the SEC will win when it goes higher.
I agree.
And you will get, it will happen. You will get a Scoresby
LSU,
situation.
Somebody needs to sit down with Kiffin and just be like, guys, the juice is not worth the squeeze. It is not worth going to war with this conference and potentially losing tens of millions of dollars over a guy who's your backup tight end and a backup defensive tackle. It's not worth that. It isn't.
Well, hey, Dad, here's the thing. Somebody that would know told me earlier when this process started that LSU was going to add up to or more than 10 of these former NFL players. That it wasn't just Daquan Wright and Xavier Harris, that it was a lot of them. I don't know if that's true or not. I know they have a former Utah player that got an NFL contract in for a visit today that's by the SEC ruled not eligible. So there's at least 2 more that they are going after. Wow. And I can't imagine what, regardless of what Kiffin says about, well, the players know that we're chasing excellence. No, if you keep adding former pros to the roster, you really think your team's just going to be like, oh, yeah, coach. Yeah, cool, man. Awesome. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you. You'll text me back when you're done with hot yoga and pickleball. Hopefully. Exactly. No, that will not go over well in a locker room. But, yeah, so it's not just those two.
Yeah.
I do think, maybe I'm trying to read too much into that. I do wonder if this is not an indicator of how they feel about the team that they've got. That they're willing to go to these lengths to try to improve their team because they don't. Kirby Smart didn't do this.
What happened to patience, Lane? Thought we were going to be patient in year 1 and then worry about it later. What happened to that?
Governor Foghorn Leghorn does not have patience. And the people
Foghorn Leghorn is more of a Kentucky guy.
I know, but that's the best cartoon character I could come up with that Governor Landry resembles.
It's got to be a more Cajun cartoon character.
But there's a reason when Kirby Smart was asked about it, was like, we're not doing that. My players are in their spot, and it would disrupt the locker room. There's a reason that Dan Lanning said it's a mockery, and there's a reason Ryan Day isn't doing this. Those are guys that believe in their roster.
Yeah.
1 + 1 doesn't always equal 2, but I feel like this 1 + 1 does in fact equal 2. But we'll see. And yes, the SEC and NCAA are separate entities. Now these players are going to try to argue collusion. Good luck proving that.
Yeah.
But again, the second this gets out of Louisiana, the way that the courts are going to look at an SEC rule on former pros is going to change. A Baton Rouge judge will do anything that LSU wants to do.
Right.
Anything. Not whatever avenue that the SEC finds to fight. We'll see.
And the NFL made a statement about this today as well.
Yes. So the NFL, I told you guys, there were people, and opinions vary, and it's okay. I'm wrong all the time. But there were people Monday and yesterday that were saying that the NFL is not going to care. They're not going to step in. I'm here to tell you that they don't like that a college coach was encouraging NFL players during training camp to get involved in a lawsuit to come back and play in college. And they're starting to do something about it. I have a feeling this is not the end. But the NFL, according to Adam Schefter, are going to, quote, provide clarity, end quote. Again, I think they're going to do rules too, but this is what they're doing right now. That if a player goes back to college, he will not be allowed to sign with an NFL team at any point this season. So a guy can't play 4 games and then an NFL team want to pick him up and slap him on their practice squad. That cannot happen. And a player that signed an NFL contract, like Daquan Wright, that goes back to college, or at least tries to, cannot go through the draft process again. So no combine, no college all-star games, none of that. They will just simply be a free agent. And that will de-incentivize some of this moving forward if the SEC can't defend itself from the players. I'm here to tell you the NFL is not going to stop there.
The NFL is not going to allow guys to come to camps when there's a possibility they might leave a few weeks in to go back to college. They're just not going to do that. They're not going to allow that.
They're going to put a stop to it. Let's see. Can we talk about how Lane's causing a major distraction around his program? That's what he does, though. It's amazing.
That's a good point, though. And like, the first game is 10 days from now. Why are you so worried about this? You got bigger fish to fry. You got a season to plan for. Your fans expect you to be in the college football playoff, and you're still out here working rosters controversially. It's one thing, we'll talk about the Mississippi State guy, I'm sure, a little later. But like
for the college football fix.
Yeah, they're not going out of their way for this stuff. This is stuff this is a distraction. This is a legitimate distraction to your football team.
Yeah. And now
and this comes from me, like, I don't care if LSU gets this guy or not. LSU would be a 2-touchdown favorite against Mississippi State, whether they have Daquan Wright or not. But there just has to be somebody who has a little bit of a grown up in this situation, Because God knows Kiffin's not going to be the grown up.
No, of course not. And then love to hear the spin if Wright was wanting to come back to Oxford. No, as we talked about yesterday, if Jaden Williams gets cut by the Cardinals and tries to come back to Ole Miss, I will say it's wrong and it should not be allowed. It is possible for people to have principled opinions on things. It really is. Assuming somebody's opinion on a hypothetical is just kind of goofy, but no, this shouldn't be allowed. Ole Miss got a commitment from a basketball player yesterday. Apparently, he didn't sign a pro contract. We'll see if that's actually true. But if he did, and a G League team was paying him, he should not be allowed to play college basketball. Shouldn't.
And this is a true story. Lane is just a guy from the text line who always finds to push the rules and find loopholes. How many Kiffin rules are there? He did it with the fake injuries and the weekly availability report, and everybody ate it up and thought it was funny. And that is true.
Well, on this show, we did not like it.
There may have been one guy who liked it.
One of the former 33% of the old format.
He liked it. He didn't like when I made fun of it, but he liked it. But he's right. Like, Kiffin always is like, well, this doesn't, and he puts it off on the name of, hey, I think this shouldn't happen either, but I'm going to do it so that maybe it'll change, which we all know is crap. He does it because he can get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're
so
switching
that's it.
up.
I mean, there's nothing else to add here.
Yeah, it's GOAT Day when we come back. We're going to be talking about GOATs. Who is the greatest of all time under a number of circumstances? We'll do that when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi.
From the back to Sports Talk Mississippi.
Are you ready?
On the SuperTalk app, supertalk.fm, and always on your local SuperTalk Mississippi station.
All right. Enough of all the sniping. Enough of all the legalities. Enough of all that. Let's have fun today. Today is GOAT Day. Michael Borkey has received no prep from me of anything. I'm just going to ask him a question, and then we're going to debate it. You let us know your answers on the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395. Michael Borkey, who is the greatest Ole Miss football player of all time?
Oh, God. Because that you're not asking for most iconic or anything.
I will say this. We will limit our answers to a modern era. I don't doubt the greatness of Charlie Connerly and Bruiser Kennard and Barney Poole. Neither one of us know anything about those guys. So you keep it as modern as you like.
Goodness, that's tough. This might be kind of a goofy answer, but I truly think the best individual football player that I have seen play at Ole Miss is Laramie Tunsil.
That's a very fair answer, in my opinion.
He was absolutely, unbelievably dominant. The best defensive ends in the SEC who all played in the NFL did nothing on him. From the day he stepped on campus as a young freshman until the day he got drafted. I know there's the controversy around him, but look at his controversy and compare it to the sport now,
Yeah.
I mean, my God, he got paid some money to play college football or whatever. Had a stepdad and a coach that didn't handle all that situation well. But Laramie Tunsil
would have been a consensus All-American if not for all the.
Yes.
He got suspended for half of his last year at Ole Miss.
8 games.
Yeah.
I don't think. And look, you can sell me on Eli if you want. That was before I moved here, so I didn't watch every snap of Eli. But in the last 16 years I've lived in the state of Mississippi, there is not a player close to being as good at their position as Laramie Tunsil was at his. He's the best football player, possibly, arguably, one of the best football players I've ever seen in my life. That's how good he was.
You can make a case for him being the best offensive lineman in the history of the Southeastern Conference.
You can.
I wouldn't put him there. There's plenty. I mean, that's a debate for another day.
His pro career has matched that as well. He's been an exceptional pro as well. On top of it all,
he's the reason the Commanders aren't going to be any good this year because he's hurt. I think he's not there to block for Jaden Daniels. I think I would have said Eli Manning. I think because number 1 pick in the draft, held every reasonable passing record at the time he left. I think that has to count for being the number 1 overall pick. I mean, his dad wasn't. Archie was the number 2 pick. And Archie, of course, is so tough to gauge because he played in such a different era.
Yeah.
That
he has more interceptions than touchdowns, doesn't he?
Yeah, like his stats, you look at him and go, this guy was terrible. But you got to watch the games. And he played in a time where the defensive backs could do everything except stab a receiver to try to stop them from catching the ball.
Yeah.
So, nowadays, a player with Archie Manning's talent level would be one of the best players in college football. Eli played in a more, reasonable era for offensive football.
Mm-hmm. And then the text line is filled with Patrick Willis. There's another one.
So, Ole Miss has 14 consensus All-Americans. Patrick Willis is one of them. Interestingly enough, one of Laramie Tunsil's teammates was a consensus All-American at Ole Miss. Do you know who it is?
For some reason, I want to say Mike Hilton.
No.
But would it be Senquez?
It is Senquez Golson. That's correct. 2014, he was a consensus All-American. 3 Ole Miss offensive linemen are consensus All-Americans. Everett Lindsey, Terrence Metcalf, and Michael Ower. All consensus All-Americans. The most recent consensus All-American for the Rebels, can you guess who that is? It's very recent.
So consensus, would it be Keywan?
No. It's a little less recent than that. Just a little less.
Sticking with running back, is it Quinshawn?
No, it's Walter Nolan.
Oh, gosh, I forgot about Walter Nolan. Yes, he was unbelievable. He was unbelievable. He might be in this discussion as well.
Yeah.
He played some of the best defensive line in 13 games that you can see. I mean, just A&M people said he had a bad motor, and he took plays off, and maybe that did happen. I don't remember seeing that happen.
So in the modern era, Ole Miss has 3 Pro Football Hall of Famers. But Patrick Willis is the only one of the modern era. Only played 8 years in the NFL, but was a Pro Bowler 7 times. Just decided to walk away while he still had his health. I mean, my guess is probably could have played another 3 or 4 years and would have been a Pro Bowler each and every single time. As far as college, here's the problem with Patrick Willis. Played on terrible teams.
Didn't help.
Just bad teams. And in basketball, when you see a guy playing on a bad, like Hubbard last year, right? Like Hubbard's just far and away the best guy. It's the same thing with Patrick Willis, man. He was just all over the field every play because he had to be. If he wasn't out there, those teams might have gone winless. I mean, he really, when you talk about a 3-8, 3-9 kind of team, and you're like, that guy elevated that team, he did. They would have been much worse without him. Patrick Willis I think Patrick Willis might be my choice.
It's a great choice, and I mean, you can argue it, but you can't say that you're wrong. You know what I mean?
So here we go. Somebody asked me, Jackson Dart has all the offensive and passing records in Ole Miss, including the most wins. So how can you ignore that and say Eli?
I don't care.
You're not but you're not wrong. You can make a case for Jackson Dart.
I don't think so.
Here's the thing: this time next year, if he doubles up, I can probably make a case for Trinidad Chambliss.
So
if he goes back to the college football playoffs,
yes. This is going to be blasphemous to some, I guess, but Jackson Dart was really good, and he should be looked at fondly and all of that.
Yeah.
He's not even the best Kiffin quarterback. He's not even the best quarterback in the Kiffin era. It's Matt Corral.
So you would rank Corral
over Jackson Dart in terms? Yes, I would.
And then Chambliss just because you only had
only
had
1
a
year.
full year. You had, you didn't start the first couple of games.
I like Jackson Dart a lot. Don't get me wrong, but
you
stats
would take
can lie.
Corral over Dart.
I would. If you said, Michael, you need to go win a football game today, college.
I don't know.
Matt Corral at his peak, Jackson Dart at his peak, I'm taking Corral every single time.
That's a really tough decision. Yeah.
But so stats can lie. Is Case Keenum the best college football quarterback of all time?
No.
But the stats say that
is. Yeah, Will Rogers is state's all-time leading passer, but no is the answer on that one. Who are we leaving out? So let me read
votes for Wesley Walls. That's a good
very
pick
sneaky.
now.
So let me read off all of the Ole Miss consensus All-Americans. And I said you would do the modern era, but Charlie Connerly, Jim Dunaway, Charlie Flowers, those are all back in the 47, 62, 59, respectively. Jake Gibbs from 1960. Jim Miller, the punter, from 1979. I'm surprised Bill Smith wasn't on here. Another punter. Crawford Mims from 1953. I know a lot of his family from Vicksburg. And then you get into the modern era. Rufus French was all consensus All-American 1998. Senquez Golson, we mentioned. Everett Lindsay, 92. Terrence Metcalf, 01. Elijah Moore, 2020, consensus All-American. Walter Nolan, Michael Oher, and Patrick Willis. None of the quarterbacks.
None of the quarterbacks. Yeah, and none of them.
We have not mentioned this. What about Deuce McAllister? Is he the greatest running back in Ole Miss history?
He's got to be, right?
Well, it's who would you put in the discussion? Deuce.
Y'all aren't going to like this, Quinshon.
Quinshon Judkins absolutely belongs in that discussion. He was nearly Ole Miss's leading rusher after 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Dexter McCluster would be on the list.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go all the way back to K.O. Dotley, you can.
With another good year, Kewan will be in that discussion.
Absolutely.
But let's pause that, even though you're driving the bus here. Mm-hmm. Before we go on to specific positions.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we go to state first and then bounce back?
No. We're just talking right now.
Okay.
This is the Ole Miss segment.
Okay.
Next segment, we'll figure something out. But starting 4 o'clock, we'll go to state, and then we'll do USM, and then we'll work our way through some NFL stuff and some basketball. We'll have a little fun with it. But
yeah, I see. This is what I'm talking about here. Corral didn't have the help that Dart did, but I don't think Dart wins that Tennessee game like Corral did. I agree with you 150%. Jackson Dart would have never won that game.
I don't think Jackson Dart would have rushed for 175 yards or whatever Corral did in that game.
Yeah, and I mean,
dragging an almost broken leg from what I've been told.
Ole Miss was down 3 wide receivers, and that was one of the. I mean, that environment in Neyland. I have buddies that went to that game that said that's the only game I've ever been scared, and they were like, people didn't treat us wrong. It was just that intense that we were afraid inside of the game, and he took a team that didn't have those weapons into that place and won basically on his own. Okay, this is definitely a hypothetical that you can't prove right or wrong. Mm-hmm. Matt Corral and the 2024 Ole Miss team, with all of the distractions that Kiffin created, all that still existing, make the playoff, and they do not go 9-3. They don't lose to Kentucky at home. They certainly don't lose to Florida the way that they did.
All right. We'll do a shorter one when we come back for the short segment. And then 4 o'clock hour, 5 o'clock hour, we'll stick with this. I think we're going to have fun. You guys seem to be enjoying it on the C Spire text line. So be listening in and let us know what you guys think. Sports Talk Mississippi, it's GOAT Day. Now that we've gotten past all the NCAA stuff, who's the greatest of all time at whatever? We'll do it when we come back.
From the SuperTalk Mississippi.
Introducing to you
Sports Talk Mississippi.
We're back here on Sports Talk Mississippi. We are celebrating GOAT Day. What is GOAT Day, you ask? I'm going to ask Borkey who the greatest of all time, and we're going to debate. Debate isn't even the right word. We're just talking it out.
It's fun.
We're not embracing debate here on Sports Talk Mississippi. Michael Borkey, who is the greatest Ole Miss baseball player of all time?
Oh, gosh. So you're talking about greatest player, not most iconic.
Again, it is the GOAT.
Because
most iconic is Tim Elko.
that's Tim Elko.
He's got a statue.
But he is not the greatest player.
I would argue that you're correct. He's on the list, though. You can make a debate. You can make a case.
Gosh, how far back?
Well, I mean, people are going to say Jake Gibbs.
They're going to say Gibbs.
Yeah. Archie might get a mention here again.
In the stadium that is now the Turner Center, right? Isn't that what it is now?
I believe so, yeah. Stephen Head.
Smith. Lance Lynn, does he
Lance
fit in there?
Lynn.
Does Pomeranz fit in there?
Yeah, Pomeranz would be a good choice, I think.
But what's the one?
Yeah.
I don't think there's one in the modern era. I don't think there's one that really stands head above the rest. Is there? Because you can make an argument for all of those.
Pomeranz is probably the correct answer. But again, it's a pitcher.
It's a pitcher.
It's a little different.
Play every day.
It's a little different situation. Stephen Head might be the answer there. I mean, you think about all of the Ole Miss shortstops that have been there the past few years, all the outfielders, Jacob Gonzalez.
Couple of votes three votes now for David Dellucci, World Series champ.
Absolutely could be on that list for sure. There's a vote for Lance Lynn. Donnie Kessinger. You can vote for Donnie. You can vote for Keith. You can vote for Gray. You can vote for any Kessinger you want.
Gray was pretty special by the time he was done there.
Yeah. I think Dellucci absolutely would be on the list.
Dellucci might be the guy.
I mean, if you say that, I'm not going to argue too hard against you. I'm trying to think over the last 5 or 6 years who has been. Elko is on that list. I mean,
somebody said probably not the GOAT, but Cozart was my favorite.
Zach Cozart is an outstanding player for Ole Miss. The all-time leading home run hitter in Ole Miss history is still playing for Ole Miss. Judd Udemark.
Yeah, and I
mean, the difference is it's not that Ole Miss has a ton. It doesn't have 20 or 30 College World Series appearances to pick from or anything like that, but. For Udemark, I mean, they did get to Omaha this year, though. In the modern era of college baseball, they've been 3 times, and Udemark was part of that.
The answer is Stephen Head. That's the answer.
That's where you want to go?
That's the answer.
I don't have a problem with that. Sykes Orvis mention. Why not?
Is that you, Sykes?
Sykes, are you texting the show?
He was fun to watch. But.
I'm trying to think of those mid-2000 Ole Miss teams. Who would have stood out there. I need to go back and look at who won the Ferris Trophy. So what Ole Miss players have won the Ferris? Brian Petway.
Well, Stephen Head won it.
Scott Biddle. I forgot about him. Paris Pomerantz. Austin Bosfield. Stephen Head he won the first one. Yeah, won the first one. And then Kemp Alderman is Ole Miss's last winner of that trophy. Nobody would say Kemp Alderman. Good player, but nobody would say he's the greatest player in Ole Miss history. I think Stephen Head might be the correct answer.
I think that's the answer.
All right, I don't have a problem with that. Chris Coughlin mentions, very good player for Ole Miss. You can make an argument for Ryan Olenek. You could. Errol Robinson mentioned. Jacob Gonzalez.
See, now we're just throwing out names.
We are just throwing out names. Do you, in your heart of hearts, really believe Jacob Gonzalez or Errol Robinson is the greatest player in Ole Miss history? I can't get behind that. So, Stephen Head. We need somebody to get on our graphic department. We need graphics for all these people to let them know they've been elected the GOATs. Stephen Head, I have Stephen's number. I'll maybe text him hey, just want to let you know the committee has determined.
He was Stephen Head's the answer. He was an All-American in all 3 of his seasons at Ole Miss. It's Stephen Head. He's the answer.
So I mentioned John Rice Plumlee. He was the next Jake Mangum.
Remember the John Rice Plumlee sign stealing scandal?
Yes,
You remember that?
I do remember that. I do remember also somebody saying he reminds me a lot of Jake Mangum. It's like, does he? In what way? So, all right. When we come back, we'll go back to football. We'll switch over to Mississippi State. We'll do Southern Miss. We'll do state baseball, Southern baseball. We'll do Ole Miss. We'll do some basketball. We'll stay in college as much as we can. We might get some NFL stuff in the 5 o'clock hour. That's a much wider debate. The greatest NFL player of all time. We could be here a long time with that one. Sports Talk Mississippi, enjoying GOAT Day. Just having a little fun.
Did you say enjoying? We talking lawsuits?
No, enjoying.
Oh, I thought you said
Not enjoined.
Oh, I see. Because
no.
we could talk some more lawsuits.
Let's not do that.
We're not going to do that.
We'll stay on the goats when we come back.
Anytime she goes away, anytime she goes away.
Sports Talk Mississippi continues.
Sports Talk Mississippi back with you here on a Wednesday afternoon. Brian Hadad and Michael Borkey in the Pearl River Resort Studios, pearlriverresort.com. C-Spire text line open to you, 601-879-4395. You're going to want to jump on there as we are enjoying GOAT Day. We're discussing the GOATs, all of them, all of the greatest. That's the topic of the day. The topic of the day on Tuesday, September the 15th, is going to be all the cool stuff going on at Ag Up in Canton. It's the kickoff to deer season customer appreciation event, and Michael Borkey and I will be there live for a long, great afternoon and evening for the customers, hunters, landowners, and anyone who enjoys the outdoors. 5:30 p.m., which means, by the way, I will not be available on the show after 5:30 p.m. because I'm going to be grilling up free burgers, and I'm going to go have a couple. So there's that. And then at 6, the band takes the stage, the Honky Tonk Playboys, with special guest appearance by DJ Michael Borkey.
You keep saying stuff like that, and people are going to actually think that I will be taking the stage at some point.
That is my goal. That is my goal, is for people to think you are going to be playing the steel guitar, playing the fiddle, something with the Honky Tonk Playboys. A lot of other great stuff going on that day. Local vendor booths, giveaways, outdoor industry partners, and special equipment offers from Ag Up. So whatever your reason for the season is, John Deere season that is, come by and see us at Ag Up in Canton from 3 until 8, 160 Calhoun Commerce Park Drive in Canton. Michael Borkey, who is the greatest Mississippi State football player of all time?
Okay. Because the first thought that anybody not like you that's ingrained in the fact would say Dak Prescott.
Average American
would say Dak.
Would say Dak Prescott. A completely legitimate discussion.
I mean, he was awesome.
A fantastic player. Held every passing record when he left. Won a ton of games at Mississippi State. Won big games at Mississippi State. His pro career adds to his legacy. He's been the starting quarterback of the biggest football team in the country.
And his numbers are very good in the NFL.
His numbers are outstanding. Their struggles have not been because Dak Prescott has not been good. You can absolutely go there. I would make my case for Jeff Simmons. Jeff Simmons, you mentioned earlier when you were talking about Tunsil, that from your own eyes, the most dominant player you saw. Simmons is that for Mississippi State. The reason Mississippi State's defense in 2018 was so good is every team had to triple team that guy.
He was feared by every offensive coordinator.
He had his first sack in the second to last game he ever played for Mississippi State because people just kept blocking him. Like they took 3 guys to block him. So that's why Montez Sweat racked up all the sacks. He was getting one-on-one out there. I've said it many times. I'll say it again here. Jeff Simmons had a double whammy when it came to the draft. He had the horrific incident that happened prior to the start of his college career, and then he tore his ACL while he was training for the draft. I think a healthy guy with no red flag on the resume, he might have been the first pick in the draft. That's how good a player. And that's why he's the highest paid defensive lineman, or at least he was. I think somebody may have gotten ahead of him in the past couple of weeks. So Simmons would be my choice. C-Spire text line going here. Somebody want John Bond? I love John Bond. I'm not going to argue. Johnny Cook's getting some messages. Fletcher Cox for sure. No chance. No chance. Fletcher Cox not even the best defensive tackle.
So you think Simmons greater than Fletcher Cox?
Absolutely, I do. 100%. 100 times out of 100.
And
Love
you've
Fletcher
said
Cox,
before,
but
Simmons greater than Chris Jones as well.
So here's the dirty little secret of Chris Jones. His college career is not incredibly impressive. Like, he has been 10 times the pro that he was in college. He was a good college player, but he's never even first team all SEC. I know, yeah, for sure. If you ask me to rank the big three of the Mullen era are Simmons, Jones, and Cox, I would go Simmons, Cox, Jones. Every time. A
lot of votes for Johnny Cooks.
Johnny Cooks for sure. Eric Moulds gets a mention here. The best receiver in Mississippi State history. There's no question about that. But I don't think he's the best player in Mississippi State history.
All right, so in your opinion, though, Dak was one that you were accepting of. Simmons is one.
Who else would I put?
Yeah, who else would you put in that this is debatable category?
It's not a lot of people. It's not a lot.
Wasn't Norwood just like spectacular at Mississippi State?
Norwood was so good considering the teams he played on. Sort of the same thing as Patrick Willis, right? Mm-hmm. Just like a star amongst non-stars. Anthony Dixon, you could maybe make a case for Anthony, for Boobie Dixon. You could make a case maybe for Charles Cross, but really only had 1 year where he was like just completely dominant. Like, his last year at State, unbelievable. And, I remember about the draft, there were 3 left tackles in that draft. 2 of them are not incredibly high-paid guys right now, and Charles Cross just got an extension. He's incredibly high-paid. Charles Cross was the best of that draft, no question about it.
All right, somebody, they might be trying to be funny, but someone mentions Logan Cook. Now, if you compare how good he is at his position versus how good the other guys are at their position.
He's the greatest punter of. I don't know if that's the truth either, but
you can get there.
Yeah,
but the impact that a punter has is just not the same. Therefore,
yeah, for sure.
But I like where you're going with that.
Yeah. Somebody says Josh Morgan if his nephew signs with State. First off, no, and secondly, it's his son, not his nephew. Vote for Wayne Madkin. I don't have a problem with that. Ken Hall gets a mention. Ken Hall's another one. Good college career, but his pro career, he should be in the NFL Hall of Fame. If he had won one of those 4 Super Bowls, which weren't his fault, it's not the center's fault you don't win a Super Bowl, I think he might be it. But he was an unbelievable center for the... That's funny, Borkey. My brother-in-law played with Norwood, said if he had played for Alabama or with someone with a good offensive line, Norwood would have won the Heisman. My hyperbole statement of all time is that if you switch Jarius Norwood and Reggie Bush, they would have had the same careers. Like, Bush would have been, he was a really good player, played on terrible teams. Norwood would have been like, that may have been the greatest college football player of all time. He was that talented.
I like how you couch that.
What?
That the little hyperbole in the statement, but I believe it kind of thing.
That's one of my hills to die on. Like, Jarius Norwood was an unbelievable football player who played for 4 of the worst offensive teams in the history of the sport. Let me bring up State's 2005 season should be studied. I mean, his senior year is an unbelievable. First off, Sylvester Croom, as I've mentioned on this show before, never coached a team to score 40 points in a game. 5 years, never scored more than 38 points in a game. 2005, Mississippi State scored 153 points with Jarius Norwood on the roster. 153 points, Borkey. They were shut out twice. They scored 10 or less 5 other times. They scored 38 points against Murray State in the first game of the season. The rest of they incredibly scored 35 in the Egg Bowl. So they bookended the season with their 2 best offensive performances. In between there, 0, 21, 10, 7, 9, 16, 7, 0, 10. With Jarius Norwood, who rushed for over 1,000 yards that year.
You have at least one person on the text line that wants to die on that hill with you, by the way.
Let's do it. We're all here together. If Mullen had Omar, Norwood, well, he did have Derek Sherrod, Tyler Threadgill. I mean, yeah, Omar. I've played that thought process out. I've done that thought exercise, Borkey. 2004, State hires Sylvester Crew, right? But Urban Meyer wasn't coming to Mississippi State in 2004, right? He went to Florida the next year in 2005. He was going to hold out. But what if State had decided to take a chance on their young offensive coordinator, Dan Mullen, in 2004? He would have been, maybe 33, 34 years old. And you gave him the keys with Omar Connor and Jarius Norwood. You got something there. You absolutely have something there. Chris Relf is the GOAT for Egg Bowls. If we who's the greatest Egg Bowl player of all time, Chris Relf probably wins. He won 2 as a starter and came off the bench to get the other one. Somebody says Sleepy Floyd. Guys, Sleepy Floyd played basketball at Georgetown. Are you talking about Sleepy Robinson? Let's think before we text here, all right? Don't text and drive, guys.
A lot of people say Nick Fitzgerald. That's like the 5th or 6th text we've gotten on him. He's not the best quarterback in this era.
He's not the best quarterback in Mississippi State history. Yeah, but that said, tough, won games, great player. Had the misfortune of following the greatest of all time quarterback, and maybe the greatest of all time, period. So,
yeah, that's a tough follow.
I vote Simmons. Borkey votes Dak. I think we're both very much in the right for there. Let's do the Golden Eagles when we come back. Who is the greatest Southern Miss football player of all time? I think that's a very interesting debate. They got a lot of great choices down there in Hattiesburg. We'll do that when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi. It's GOAT Day. Let's keep it coming on the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395. You can go and start sending them in right now. Who's the greatest Southern Miss football player of all time? We'll do it when we come back.
From the flatlands of Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi.
Every minute worth waiting for.
Super Talk Mississippi.
All right, hey, Dad, I think what I said about punters earlier
take it back here.
Doesn't apply when you're talking about possibly the greatest punter to ever live.
Michael Borkey, who is the greatest football player in Southern Mississippi football history?
Close. Michael Boley was out there.
Michael Boley? You want to go with him?
No, I'm just it's a very comparable name.
Yeah.
It's just barely off. But a lot. Our text line is filled with it. It very well might be Ray Guy when your debate is the greatest in school history and one of the candidates is the greatest in history.
Yeah,
it's hard to vote against him.
You can make a really strong case, and if Rick Cleveland were on here with us, he would make that case. That Ray Guy is the greatest athlete in the history of the University of Southern Mississippi because he was an unbelievable football player, and an unbelievable baseball player as well. Brett Favre, obviously getting mentioned. Sammy Winder, great choice. Fantastic college football player. Reggie Collier, we talked a minute ago about missed windows, right? Reggie Collier is a quarterback that was born about 30 years too early. Maybe even a little. If Reggie Collier had been born in 2005 and he was just now a junior, you're talking about a guy who would be right there with the best players in the history of the sport. He was just so far ahead of his time. And even then, he was still a great player. I'm surprised there are not a lot of defensive players getting mentioned.
No mention of
Dallas Thomas.
and for Dixon.
Yeah.
First round pick.
Rod Davis not getting mentioned here. I'm very surprised by that. But I guess the thing is with Southern Miss, they've had a lot of great offensive players. Also, Favre is the only, and Collier are the only quarterbacks getting mentioned. No Austin Davis, no Nick Mullins, neither one of them. I'm surprised. Where are you, Golden Eagle fans, on this one? Patrick Surtain not getting, there you go, Sherrod Gideon. My grandfather was the quarterback of the 58 national title team, Teeny Coates. We'll give him a list. We'll put him on the list. Damian Fletcher, honorable mention. I think Damian Fletcher, when we did our best players of the last 25 years last summer, Damian Fletcher was the highest rated Golden Eagle.
Yeah, won the Connerly in 07. College stats, 4-year starter. In 06, 1,300 yards, 5 per carry, 11 touchdowns. 2007, 1,586 on the ground, 5.4 per carry, 15 touchdowns. Year 3, 1,300 yards, but 6 yards per carry and 10 touchdowns. And then in 2009, yet another 1,000-yard season, 1,015, 4.6 per, 8 touchdowns.
Great player.
5,300 rushing yards in his college career, 44 touchdowns, another 900 receiving yards, and a pair of touchdowns as well.
In FBS numbers, I don't know Walter Payton might have more. I don't know. But for FBS, between State, Ole Miss, and USM, Damian Fletcher is the all-time leading rusher. He's got more than Dixon, and he's got more than, I think McAllister is still the Ole Miss leading rusher because Judkins could have gotten in front if he had stayed another year. But I'm pretty sure that's correct. Somebody mentioned Jamie Collins, really good choice. Lewis Lips, really good choice. Somebody mentioned Walter Payton, who didn't go to Southern Miss. So I don't know why we talk about him here.
Mississippi, Southern Miss,
well, yeah, close enough. He's from Southern Mississippi.
Yeah.
He's where you're going to be. He's from where you're going to be on Friday.
That's right. I will be there on Friday.
We'll be at the house that Walter Payton built. Is Frank Gore Jr. in the conversation? Yes, for sure he would be.
But he didn't have when you're talking about greatest of all time, and you've got Fletcher out there, Frank Gore Jr. just does not match that.
But Frank Gore Jr., Jarius Norwood, Patrick Willis, the same guy, like the best player on not great teams. Mm-hmm. For sure.
He did play quarterback.
Yeah. We can send text today. That's good.
Well, I've been blocked on some, so I can't respond to some, but I can to others.
What a weird situation. Let's see here. People mentioned Derek Nix.
Derek Nix would be there.
Somebody says, is it not the house that Jaheim Modis built? I mean, look, Jaheim Modis is a good player, but the other guy in this conversation is Walter Payton.
Well, he's
No, I know, but I'm just saying. I wanted to have that discussion out here out loud. The other guy in the discussion is Walter Payton. So, no, it's not. Some people are trying to get Marcus Dupree on here. I can't. Didn't actually play in a game at Southern Mississippi, did he? Played practice and then got declared ineligible. I don't think he ever actually played a game. So, Dustin Allman, quarterback the 03 team. Yeah, I remember Dustin Allman, but come on. We're not talking about great players. We're not talking about elite players. We're talking about the greatest player of all time. I think the top three are Favre. Favre is kind of the same thing we were talking about earlier with Archie Manning, by the way. Like playing a little bit more defensive error. His stats aren't great. When you look at Brett Favre's stats, they do not blow you away. You have to watch the games and see the fact that he can just uncork the ball and throw it 75 yards to do that. But Favre, Ray Guy, Reggie Collier, I think you have to go Ray Guy here.
I agree with you. When it's the greatest of all time at the position, he has got to be the greatest of all time at the school. Got to be. Even if it's a punter.
Well, hold on. Is he the greatest punter of all time, or is that Luke Johnson?
I think it's Luke Johnson, actually.
I should text
Luke Johnson has seen a wild tiger in real life. So
it's a true story.
Not in the zoo. No.
Yeah, Reverend Luke, Dr. Luke.
Reverend Dr. Luke.
The Reverend Dr. He's the Reverend Dr. Luke Johnson. Punter. All conference punter. Yeah, Marcus Dupree needed Lane Kiffin for eligibility. Lane Kiffin would have got Marcus Dupree eligible. No question about it.
But the problem with that, though, is that Landry was not the governor of Mississippi at the time.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned that. Has anybody said Nick Mullins from Statwide? I mean, you should be mentioning him for sure.
He's still hanging around the NFL, too.
Yeah. Tony Smith, Vicksburg, Mississippi native. Great player for the Golden Eagles. First-round pick of the Falcons. Never really did anything at the next level, but a great college football player for sure. Somebody mentioned about Borkey. Gore didn't play quarterback. He played superback.
Yeah, superback, yeah.
Yeah. Another Adalius Thomas. Adalius Thomas was my Eagle buddy for 2 years when I was little. Got pictures with him when I was 6 or 7 years old.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He's not the greatest, but I never thought we'd be watching two NFL guys in 2015 when Nick Mullins and Dak squared off. That's a good point. Nick Mullins, Dak Prescott in 2015 went head-to-head.
Yeah.
Down there in Hattiesburg.
Which, is just just amazing
the
when you
latest
consider...
kickoff I've ever been part of.
When you consider Dak Prescott, a tight end at the next level, according to some. So.
According to some, so. Another vote for Pat Surtain. Great player, no question about that. Todd Pinkston gets mentioned. I think he may all be still be Southern Miss's all-time leading receiver. Some people mentioned DeAndre Brown. If DeAndre Brown had not gotten hurt, yeah, you would have had a legitimate argument there. Mm-hmm. DeAndre Brown, I think, is the highest-rated player from Mississippi in terms of modern recruiting rankings to go to Southern Miss.
So would he be for State and Ole Miss? He got hurt, or he would have been GOAT. For
State, it's David Fair.
Tony Connor for Ole Miss.
Tony Connor. Well, the thing is, though, with Connor, he got hurt, but he started almost every game. Like he wasn't the same player.
Yeah.
Like with David Fair, he got hurt and that was it. Like he tore up his leg at a time where that was the end of your career.
And now you're coming back from Achilles injuries in
the same
7 months.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a different era of college football for sure.
Treadwell would have been the GOAT conversation had he not shattered his ankle as well.
Yeah, but he still had a good year in 2015, his last year there. He was still a good football player.
Changed him though.
I don't know the Ole Miss. If he hadn't gotten hurt, what kind of player could he have been? Could he have been an All-American? I don't know who it would be for Ole Miss. I'm trying to think my way through the years, but nobody is just completely standing out for me on that one. So, all right, there we go. Cooper, man. Here's what I'll say about that. You're kind of right. You're kind of right because if Cooper Manning had not gotten hurt, Peyton Manning would have been a Rebel.
And then every Ole Miss fan will be talking about Marshall right now.
Well, I mean, I think at that point, if Cooper and Peyton and Eli, I think Arch might have been like, I got to do it, don't I? So, I mean, that's a butterfly effect for another day, but that might be a thing we could do like next offseason. We're too close to the season now, but a what-if day. So come up with some scenarios of what if this had happened? What if this coach had been hired? What if this player had come to Ole Miss or Mississippi?
Well, the conclusion that will come to, though, is Cam Newton. What if State would have given the extra
that's the biggest what if in
or
Mississippi
whatever?
State history, no question about it. If State had just paid the man. I don't know if they would have won the national title. I think they would have because, honestly, that Mississippi State team was better than that Auburn team. But the Auburn team had Cam Newton, so they were better because of that. So, Ray Guy, the greatest Golden Eagle of all time. I'll hit Borkey with another one when we come back. And then 453, Borkey, let's do the 100 teams. We'll just get the number 3 team out of the way. Back in just a minute.
Check this out.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Super Talk Mississippi.
It's GOAT Day. Who are the greatest of all time? That's what we're doing today on Sports Talk Mississippi. I'm Brian Hadad. He's Michael Borkey. Michael Borkey, who is the greatest football player ever from the state of Mississippi? Mississippi has 9 Hall of Fame football players. Interesting stat here. Of the 9, only 2 of the high schools still exist.
That's amazing.
There's so many, just changed through the years.
Yeah.
But the only two that are still out there, Lance Allworth went to Brookhaven, and Walter Payton went to Columbia. Everybody else's high school is shut down.
Is he the answer?
Well, let me give you the 9. Because it's got to be from this 9, right?
Got to be.
All right. I mean, in a few years, Fletcher Cox will probably be in the Hall of Fame.
I think so.
Chris Jones will be in the Hall of Fame. I don't know if Simmons gets there just yet, but we'll see. Lance Allworth, Lim Barney, Willie Brown, Brett Favre, Bruiser Kennard, Walter Payton, Jerry Rice, Billy Shaw, Jackie Slater. It's down to Payton or Rice, almost off the bat. I know old school people will mention Allworth and how great he was. Outstanding. But he's a receiver, and Jerry Rice is the greatest receiver of all time, so he's out. Favre is not the greatest quarterback of all time. He's got to be out. Jackie Slater is not the greatest offensive lineman of all time. He's got to be out. You can make strong cases. I mean, the people who want to argue against Jerry Rice as the greatest receiver of all time, they're facing an uphill climb. No question. Walter Payton is a little more, because there are people who would say Barry Sanders. Some people might say Emmitt Smith. I would not. I would take Payton over Emmitt Smith, but I might take Sanders over Walter Payton. But what do you say?
Is Steve McNair in the discussion?
Not a Hall of Famer.
Not a Hall of Famer, but
so if we did
there's other reasons.
If I just said who's the greatest college football player from Mississippi, McNair might be the answer to that. Like, would I take Steve McNair over the 3 guys we mentioned, right? Do I take him over, who did you say for Ole Miss? You said Laramie Tunsil. But would I take McNair over Tunsil or Eli or Patrick Willis? Would I take him over Dak and Jeff Simmons? Would I take him over Ray Guy and Brett Favre and Reggie Collier? The answer is probably yes.
McNair's college career, 15,000 passing yards, 122 touchdowns, 2,300 rushing yards.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, from a college football, and then his NFL stats are very good. If they had won that Super Bowl, if he had been able to win that, he might be in.
Yeah.
But I think it's between Peyton and Rice to be the greatest of all time from Mississippi.
I mean, like you said, Jerry Rice is, I think, inarguably the greatest wide receiver to ever live.
Yeah. Marcus Dupree getting a mention. If I was talking about high school football, it'd be no question. But we're talking about all time. I mean, you got to have the NFL career to back this one up.
Yeah.
So who do you pick?
Jerry Rice.
I think I go Rice over Peyton. It's really tight, though. Walter Payton, I mean,
Jerry Rice had 4,700 receiving yards and 50 touchdowns in his college career.
Oh, his college career is unreal. Played in an offense that was so far ahead of its time.
His NCAA record stood until 2006.
Yeah. No Boopy Dixon. Guys, I want you guys to really listen to what I'm saying. We're talking about the greatest football player in the history of this state. I love Boopy Dixon. Great Mississippi State Bulldog. Are we really going to argue that he belongs in a discussion with Walter Payton and Jerry Rice? That's what you're doing. Now, if you're trolling, fair play to you. But if you're not, if you sit that and you're serious, you got to really think about what we're doing here. Think about the exercise that we're having here. This is the greatest player of all time. I'm talking about the great Walter Payton, Jerry Rice, those kind of players. By the way, in case you're wondering, I said from Mississippi on purpose because if we wanted to say Ray Guy, technically from Georgia.
Yeah, did not play high school
football in Mississippi. I want a native Mississippian here. I think you have to break it down by D1 and D2. Well, I mean, I don't.
Especially when you're talking about Rice, considering he did it at
the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the greatest football player of all time. Jerry Rice has the NFL career to back everything up. I mean, if I was talking about the greatest quarterback of all time, Willie Totten is in the discussion for Mississippi. If I'm just talking about the greatest college quarterback of all time. But is he the greatest quarterback of all time for Mississippi? No. Because you got to have the NFL stuff, too, in this situation.
I mean, Jerry Rice still has 3 NFL records, right? Touchdowns, receiving yards, and receptions. Those all still hold. Yeah, it doesn't matter that he played in, I guess at the time, what was it, 1AA, whatever they called it back then.
Mm-hmm.
When you do that in the league.
Yeah, Division 1AA back then, yeah. Just read off the stats for Jerry Rice. For
NFL?
Yeah.
Okay. In 303 total games played, 1549 receptions, 22,895 receiving yards,
Goodness gracious.
197 touchdowns. And for good measure, another 645 rushing yards in his career with 10 touchdowns.
Let me read this off. This is the accolades for Jerry Rice. You ready? 3-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, 2-time Offensive Player of the Year, 10-time First-Team All-Pro, Second-Team All-Pro once, 13 Pro Rolls, 2 times receiving leader, 6-time receiving yard leader, 6-time receiving touchdown leader, the NFL scoring leader in 1987, 80s and 90s All-Decade Team, 75th and 100th Anniversary All-Time Teams, MVP in 1987, All-Rookie Team, and, of course, a 2-time All-American in college as well. Here's a good question. Could we say Favre, Rice, Peyton are the best 3-man team ever from a state?
I'm sure you could.
So think about it like this. Like, let me look at Texas. Texas is the first one that comes to mind for me, right? So, Texas, who's the greatest running back from Texas? I could give you LaDainian Tomlinson or Eric Dickerson.
Neither one of them people would compare to Peyton.
Neither one, right? For receiver from Texas, I can give you Doak Walker too, but I'm not going to. Honestly, there's not one. There's not a receiver even close to him. And then for a quarterback, you got to go back a ways. Sammy Baugh.
But Colt McCoy doesn't get a mention?
No, there's no mention. Let me check California. California might be. So here's Florida. Florida, I can give you Emmitt Smith. I can give you Michael Irvin. Wow, there's not a Hall of Fame quarterback from the state of Florida. I would never have guessed that.
I never would have believed that. I wonder if Ohio's got it.
I'm going to look at Ohio. So California, I can give you Marcus Allen, John Elway, and I can give you O.J. Simpson too. Honestly, though, from a receiver standpoint, James Lofton.
Yeah,
I'm winning. Ohio. That's a good call there, Borkey. Ohio, I can give you. Oh, we're winning this one. Roger Staubach with Chris Carter and Larry Zonka.
It's a good list, but no. What about Louisiana?
Oh, we're going to kill Louisiana. There's no way. Where are they? Louisiana. Terry Bradshaw. Do you want Terry Bradshaw or Peyton Manning? Peyton Manning, Marshall Faulk. They don't have a Hall of Fame receiver.
They don't have a what?
They don't.
Wow, I'm surprised by that.
They have Charlie Joyner, but no. Illinois is another. They have 20 Hall of Famers. They don't have a quarterback. They have Otto Graham. You got to go old school. Otto Graham, Red Grange, and honestly, it's Kellen Winslow.
Have we done Georgia yet?
Georgia. Let's see.
Pennsylvania might be a good one too to do.
Georgia only has 8.
Wow.
Fran Tarkington. They don't have a running back. Herschel Walker's not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So there you go. What was the other one you just said?
Alabama and Pennsylvania.
Let's go Pennsylvania real quick. Pennsylvania. You got Tony Dorsett, Joe Montana. I would take Montana over Namath. And I'm not seeing a receiver that just... Fred Biletnikoff.
Ooh, that's a good list.
That's a good list.
That's a good list right there.
By the way, for California, in fairness, Tom Brady's not in the Hall of Fame yet.
Yeah.
So you could go Brady with Marcus Allen, but they don't have the receiver. They don't have a receiver. So that's a great question. I like that one.
Did you do Alabama?
We'll do that when we come back because I get to say what you normally say. We're up against a hard break here.
We are.
So all right, we'll do one more of these 3-man teams. Plus, we got to catch up the 100 teams in 100 days. We got one team to get today. It's the number 3 team in the nation. Make sure you light a prayer in the grotto for that one. We'll be back in just a minute. Sports Talk Mississippi on GOAT Day.
You're hearing Sports Talk Mississippi.
What? This is so
Awesome on Super Talk Mississippi.
Hey, mama said the way you move gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove.
Somebody did the work for us here on the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395. The 3-man team from Alabama, you get Kenny Stabler, Julio Jones, and Bo Jackson. 2 of those guys aren't in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Bo Jackson obviously never will be. But, I mean, I'm not going to argue that Bo Jackson's greatness either. But, again, Favre is greater than Favre, Peyton, and Rice are better than those 3. So Mississippi legitimately may have the best 3-man team of all time.
Very well could.
Very well could. All right. Only 3 teams left to do. That's crazy. Tomorrow we'll hit number 2 and number 1. Today's number 3. It's 100 teams in 100 days.
This day is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. This day is bananas.
100 teams in 100 days.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
It's the final countdown.
I got a good one.
All right.
We go to the house that Ron Powless built. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
It's the most beautiful thing these eyes have ever seen.
Oh, my God.
Rudy was offsides.
Rudy was offsides. You want to know one of the things I don't like about that? If you go back and watch that movie, the scene where the dad and the mom are in the stands with the brother, right?
Yeah.
And they're cheering. The dad's eyes are looking this way. The brother is looking over here. Like, it drives me insane.
They're not looking at the
They're not
action.
looking at the same thing. So
Maybe the brother was looking at the coverage downfield.
yeah. He's so little.
Notre Dame, team number 3. They play in Notre Dame Stadium.
Make it really easy for you, yeah.
A place that up until very recently did not have music. They didn't play music in the stadium at all. It was strictly the PA announcer and the band. That is it. Now, they've changed that. They've even done things like add video boards, which for a period of time they didn't have those either. But it is, from the outside, architecturally, a beautiful-looking stadium and one of the most recognizable venues in the sport. 77,622 seats on the nose, right smack dab in the middle of campus in South Bend, Indiana. Marcus Freeman, if you had to guess his age, how old would you think that the head coach at Notre Dame, who has been there since 2021, is?
40.
He is 40 years old. That's it.
I knew
is
that.
Marcus Freeman.
That was not a guess, just so you know.
This is 40. He obviously took over after Brian Kelly left for LSU. Good call, Coach. Fit does matter, and Brian Kelly did not fit at LSU, and it ultimately did not work out there.
The other side of that coin is Marcus Freeman is a perfect fit at Notre Dame.
Without a doubt. And it got off to kind of a rocky start. They went 9-4 in year one, then 10-3, 14-2. Remember, they won 3 playoff games en route to a national championship appearance where they fell short, but that was a good season, 14-2. And last year, they went 10-2. Remember, they lost the first 2 games of the season. They lost to Miami, which ultimately proved to be the difference between them going to the playoff and not going to the playoff. They lost to Texas A&M very controversially. Remember, it was at home. A&M got away with a hold on what was the game-winning drive that should have ended the game. It did not. A&M wins. Notre Dame falls to 0-2. Both of those losses by a combined 4 points. That's it. Four points. That's it. Pretty brutal stuff. But then they started winning. They beat Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, USC before their off week. They beat Boston College, Navy, Pittsburgh, and Syracuse before the season finale, a dominating win at Stanford. Thanks to the SEC and others, by the way, Notre Dame's going to get special treatment in this year's college football playoff should they find themselves in the scenario that they found themselves in last year. They were ranked inside the top 12 and didn't make it because, well, 2 reasons. They didn't win a conference because they're not in a conference. And therefore, after Duke won the ACC, James Madison got to make the playoff as well as Tulane. And the committee, even though they had Notre Dame ranked ahead of Miami the whole time, decided, rightfully so, that even though it was week 1, which is an argument I don't agree with, well, it was a long time ago. I don't care. The game happened. They played each other. And Notre Dame lost to Miami. Miami got in. Notre Dame did not, and those cowards at Notre Dame, that's what they were, took their ball and went home. They opted out of their bowl game as a team. Marcus Freeman endorsed that decision, and they did not play in the postseason last year. We're up against, there you go, Hadad, we're up against a heartbreak. We will finish Notre Dame's inclusion on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days after the news, and also Mississippi State added a player. But don't worry, they're not pulling a Lane Kiffin. They're not doing that crap. They're not going to sue the SEC. Guy was in the portal the whole time, and now he's going to Mississippi State. We'll tell you about that as well after the news. We're in the Pearl River Resort studio. We'll pick this up when we come back.
Come on.
Are we going to do this?
Back to Sports Talk, Mississippi.
Keep rolling. 3, 2, 1.
Super Talk, Mississippi.
All right, quickly wrapping up. Notre Dame, number 3 on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. This year, they have a schedule that has been mocked by many. You look at the schedule that your favorite team plays, and I mean all of you, Ole Miss fans, State fans, and others, LSU fans listening. Auburn, Tyler, I know you're out there. Alabama fans, everything in between. Look at your schedule. Quickly pull it up on your phone. As I read this to you, this is what Notre Dame is facing this year. They're playing Wisconsin with a coach on the hot seat at Lambeau to start the season. Then Rice, Michigan State, careful, road game at Purdue, and then North Carolina before they host Stanford. Now, one of their 2 difficult games this season is on the road at BYU. That's legitimately tough. They have an off week before they play Navy at Gillette Stadium. They host Miami, another tough game, but you see. Boston College, SMU, and Syracuse on the road. That is Notre Dame's schedule this year, as Mississippi State and Ole Miss play 6 teams ranked in the preseason top 25.
There you go.
Good stuff there.
You will never guess what kind of food is the restaurant.
Peruvian.
No. I'll give you one more try.
German.
Irish.
Ah.
It's Irish food. We're going to Fiddler's Hearth.
You meant you will never guess, as in it is the obvious answer.
It's the obvious
not
choice, yeah. This entire menu, unless you are ordering like from the kids menu, it's all like stuff you get in Ireland and England. Like you go to the kids menu, yeah, they got chicken tenders, right? But we're talking about like Scotch eggs, Welsh rarebit. Do you know what that is?
I have no idea what that is.
It's English queso. It's a cheese dip that you dip bread into. It's delicious, by the way. I'll throw that out there. This is the entrees. They have 9 entrees. You ready? Fish and chips, bangers and mash, corned beef and cabbage, Molly Malone stew. It's a fish stew. Irish stew, which is a lamb stew. Shepherd's pie, which does have lamb in it, so we can count it. I hate it when I hear shepherd's pie and they're like it's ground beef. Drives me insane. You want to know why, Borky?
Why?
What do shepherds shepherd?
Well, presumably sheep.
Right, they don't shepherd cows. So a shepherd's pie wouldn't have cow in it.
You herd cows, though.
Yeah, well, that's why it's a one with beef is a cottage pie. That's what it's called. So anyway, Salmon of Knowledge. What a great name. Apparently it's an Irish legend. Steak and Guinness pie.
I hate when I get the dumb salmon.
I don't want the salmon of athleticism. I want salmon of knowledge. And then the Indian curry. Found in every pub throughout the UK, they say. And you can add a banger to any meal for $5. So, yes, if you're ever in South Bend and you want a taste of the Irish, check out Fiddler's Hearth Public House and tell them that Borkey and Hadad. Actually, just tell them Brian sent you because that's a good Irish name.
O'Brien. Mr. O'Brien sent me.
Mr. O'Brien sent me. Now it's time for the college football fix. Should I do that in Irish, too? The College Football Fix is brought to you by...
That's really good.
Irish, I can do Scottish, too. It's brought to you by your Ford Mississippi Ford dealers. Lad, are you looking for a new truck? Well, I'll tell you where to find one. It's at your Mississippi Ford dealers today. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
All right, so...
That was an angry Scott there. I don't know what's going on there.
Mississippi State added a player to its roster, its football roster, today. And yesterday. Don't worry, though. It's not a Lane Kiffin deal.
Right.
You're not going to have to sue the SEC and get voted down rather quickly and make everybody mad and be the butt of every joke in college football land as you try to add this player.
Right.
The rare, and I mean rare, player that still is in the transfer portal looking for a home that came from a Power 4 school.
Now, I do think he is one of these. He's under a TRO. He's not. I think you're wrong about that. He's not one of those. A guy who had eligibility that nobody picked up.
Well, then why did he not?
He's in one of the lawsuits is covering him.
Okay, so he just didn't play at all, even a minicamp invite.
Apparently not.
Dang it! I was trying to.
You're trying to make us look good.
I was trying to make you look good.
I appreciate you, but we got to be honest here on Sports Talk Mississippi. Eddie Kelly.
Well, forget everything I just said.
Is a TRO guy. Yeah. Sorry.
Gosh, those Bulldogs. 3 players using a judge to get 3 players eligible?
None of them had a sore throat, though.
Yeah, they didn't need one.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
They didn't even get sick at all. They just found a judge to do it. That's even worse.
We didn't find crooked judges, though. We found honest judges.
Yeah, that's definitely what's going on.
Our shenanigans are harmless and cheeky. Cheeky shenanigans.
But as we learned from Ross Dellenger earlier in the show, apparently the SEC also has the provision in their new rule that says if you got a mini camp invite but they didn't sign you to anything, if you didn't get paid by a professional football team, if you got to try out for one and they sent you on your way, you're good to go.
So this guy, Eddie Kelly, coming in from – so this is his 5th college in 5 years, by the way. Central Florida, Georgia Tech, Missouri, West Virginia, now Mississippi State. Had a really good sophomore and junior seasons at Georgia Tech and Missouri, combined for 9.5 tackles for loss and I think 4 sacks. Look, State needs depth, needs players on the defensive line. I don't know how much a guy coming in 10 days before the start of the season can really, truly help. Because we've been talking about Daquan Wright, right? No, not Daquan Wright. Daquan Wright, right? But that's a guy who comes in and he has knowledge of the system, right? He played for Charlie Weiss last year. He can immerse himself immediately like, I know these plays, don't worry. Mm-hmm. This guy has not played for Zach Arnett, so I don't know how much you can expect from him. But if by the end of the season you got a guy out there who can at least come in there and play some snaps, what's the downside would be my question. There is none. There is no downside to this, so bring him on.
If State needed this guy, they were in trouble.
Right.
But if they're adding him for depth purposes, good pickup this late in the process.
Correct. Yeah, it's just very little downside to it. If it doesn't work out, well, it's fine. He can join the list of guys that didn't work out at Mississippi State. It's long and undistinguished. But if it does work out and you get a quality player out of it this late in the ad, well, then that's good coaching, good scouting. Go out and get them.
So, Manning and Silla.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're gonna. You're using an Oktibbeha County judge. They're going to get the injunction against the NCAA. When is that hearing? Do we know?
Don't know.
They'll get a TRO before the injunction.
I don't want you to worry because as far as coverage goes, I won't be there. I'm not going to the Oktibbeha County Courthouse to sit in on that. Whatever happens. We'll be happy to report it here. If somebody from SuperTalk News wants to come up, I'll buy them lunch. How about that? But other than that, no.
This one will be quicker.
I would think so. Yeah, because you got to be. Season starts in 10 days. You got to have all your ducks in a row. The good things with them is they've been practicing basically since the third practice. So you got to figure they're ready to go. Like they can play week one. I would not be surprised if Manning was a starter. To be totally honest with you, Silla might not start, but we'll see. But Manning, I would think, would definitely start. So does that mean you have to cut someone from the team 10 days before the season? I don't believe so.
Depends on how many roster spots they had open.
Apparently, and Levy told us with Manning and Silla that they did not have to cut anybody. So my guess is they didn't have to cut anybody here. You remember when Brandon Snee came in, they didn't replace him with anybody.
Yeah.
So, they had that spot open. My guess was State was probably sitting at like 100.
Somebody says, how much practice do you need to get to the quarterback? A lot. You need to be in football shape. Who knows? And maybe it could be great. Who knows? But you don't know what kind of shape he's in, and he has not been practicing.
Right. And then, you say, yes, you have the quarterback. Well, State's got a bunch of guys that can do that. So, or at least they hope they have guys that can do that, who have been practicing, who have the reps in, who have the knowledge of the system. So, we'll see. Again, if it works. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I don't think it's a huge problem for Mississippi State. I don't see this as a situation where we look back in a month and go, well, the season really unraveled for them because they brought Eddie Kelly in. So we'll see how it pans out. It was interesting last night to watch those graphics start popping up like, what? Mm-hmm. How late in the season? I want you to set an over-under right now. How late in the season will the last roster moves be? Like, do you think like week 4 or week 5, a team's going to announce a signing?
Depends on if the SEC is able to defend itself or not, and the Big Ten's able to defend itself or not. Right? Isn't that the answer?
I think so.
Because cut day's coming on the 31st. Or the 30th, one of the two.
Right.
Bo says it's not that complicated. The NFL signs people all year. Here's the thing, Bo. This is not an NFL player.
Yeah. And most of the time they're signing guys who are on practice squads, who are practicing, who are staying in game shape. I don't know if this guy's done that. So.
And he may have.
Yeah.
Just don't know.
Right.
It's your college football fix, driven by Ford and your local Mississippi Ford dealer. We'll be back.
Come on, Super Talk Mississippi.
Check this out. Are you ready? Yeah.
Sports Talk Mississippi.
Michael Borkey, what is the greatest legal injunction against the NCAA in history? That should be the topic.
What's the O'Bannon ruling, right? Was the big one?
Yeah, that's the GOAT one. Yeah, you're right about that. That's a good call.
I
didn't think you'd have one ready for that, but you nailed it. Good job.
Jeff Landry released a statement that includes the phrase, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah. Oh, did he really?
Yes,
just like recently?
Yes,
like
it just happened.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
The governor of a whole state.
Shout out to Booker T.
Oh, man.
That's good stuff. Michael Borkey. Who is the greatest coach in the history of the state of Mississippi? All sports. I'll give you John Vaught.
It's Vaught, 1 national title, 3 national titles. You know.
I can give you Ron Polk.
Didn't win any.
I mean, but yes, but.
Didn't win any.
Yeah, but neither did John Vaught.
Yes, he did. You can argue 2 of the 3. One of them is absolutely
I can argue
just.
all 3 of them.
I mean, you can argue anything, I suppose. Yeah. You can sue for anything, too.
So, I can give you Ron Polk. I can give you Mike Bianco.
National champion.
I can give
longevity.
You... from basketball. Nah. Babe McCarthy won 4 SEC championships, but I don't know if we want to put him in the discussion here. Richard Williams took a team to the Final Four. Probably not a basketball coach. For football, I can also give you W.C. Gordon. Jackson State. All-time great coach. I can give you Marino Kasem down at Alcorn, the godfather of black college football. I can give you Dan Mullen. No. Yeah, I mean, Vaught, Polk, Boo Ferris is getting some mentions. That's a good call. Won several national titles at Delta State. Mike Kennison could go on the list as well, for sure. Some names I don't recognize. I mean, got some votes for Kroom and Ed Orgeron.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Jeff Bauer, I can't put Jeff Bauer over John Vaught. It's either Vaught or Polk. It's probably it's going to pain me, but it's probably Vaught. But those are the top 2 in my opinion. W.C. Gordon is in the top. He's top 3. He's probably 3rd. But what about Lane Kiffin?
Didn't win any championships of any kind. He didn't win a championship of any kind.
Elevated a moribund program.
He didn't win a championship of any kind.
He won 4 Egg Bowl championships, as I recall. You just ignore those, and at least 2, maybe 3 Magnolia Bowl championships. I do believe.
They ain't championships, brother.
You got a trophy?
Yeah, but I mean, it's like getting a trophy for
Vic Schaefer getting a mention. That's not a bad one. Played for 2 national titles.
Mm-hmm.
Van Chancellor would get a mention there as well. Somebody asked, why are we so afraid to say Lane? I just said it. What do you want?
Because he didn't win a championship. He didn't, of any kind. Not a single championship.
Somebody's like, got to be high school coaches with ridiculous records. Yeah, for sure. But I can't.
Yeah, we know. Gosh, no.
I mean, I could go, whoever coached at South Panola, Ricky Woods, Willis Wright, Lance Pogue, all those guys, they can be on the list for sure. But I mean, we'd be here all day. We'd be here literally all day. I need backup for that one too. I don't have enough knowledge. Situation. Archie Cooley, why not? I don't have a problem with Archie Cooley's name being mentioned. The gunslinger. I don't think you realize how good HBCU football was in the mid-'80s here in Mississippi, Borkey, when we had Jackson State was by far the best program. You had Marino Kasem down at Alcorn. You had Archie Cooley and everything he was doing. So innovative, so far ahead of his time. That's another thing, by the way. You want to play the what-if game? What if in like 1985 Mississippi State decides, you know what we're doing is not working. We can't go out and recruit the kind of players to run the I formation and beat Alabama and Auburn and LSU every year. And it decided to go run and shoot right then. And brought in, I don't know, obviously Spurrier's name has been mentioned, but maybe if they had gone somebody along that's just a thought. Of course, that's also, we had Eddie Robinson at Grambling back then as well. I mean, just absolute titans of the sport. Bobby Collins getting a mention? Why not? Ron Polk is more of a legend to his sport than John Vaught is to his. Now, you can't argue that. If I said list the greatest college baseball coaches of all time, Ron Polk's name would come up a lot further to the top than John Vaught's was if I said name the greatest college football coaches of all time. And especially if I narrowed it down to the SEC. If I said name the greatest SEC baseball coach of all time, it's going to be Skip Bertman, and then it's going to be Ron Polk. He's going to be second. Even with all the guys who've won national titles and he hasn't won one, He's going to be second. But is Vaught the second greatest college football coach of all time in the SEC? No. Bear Bryant, Nick Saban are ahead of him. Spurrier is ahead of him. I mean, now Vince Dooley, would he be ahead? Pat Dye, would he be ahead? Pat Dye never won a national title. I'm not counting Texas coaches, by the way, or Oklahoma coaches. I'm not counting Barry Switzer or Darryl Royal. Neither one of those guys get SEC credential for me. That's an interesting point, for sure.
Chase, I don't know if this is the criteria. More of a legend in the sport. College baseball heads all over the country know Ron Polk. How many college football heads would even mention John Vaught?
Were you listening to anything I just said?
I'm sitting here reading Governor Landry's thing.
I could tell, because that is exactly the discussion I just had.
That's not...
I had a discussion with you, but you weren't listening.
Yeah, because...
But he's right. But he's no.
Could you imagine Tate Reeves doing what Jeff Landry's doing right now? I can't.
I would love to see it. It'd be hilarious, but
he never would.
But that said, no, he's not. Again, if I said who's the greatest college baseball coach of all time, Ron Polk's not number one for sure, but he's closer to one than John Vaught is for college football coaches. Is John Vaught a top 25 of all time college football coach?
I don't know.
But Ron Polk is definitely a top 25 baseball coach, right? You can't just say because he doesn't have a national title. Because I would definitely put him ahead of Chris Lemonis.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But
the way I said it earlier is like, if I go to the SEC, who's the greatest SEC baseball coach of all time? Polk is going to be second. He's going to be right behind Bertman. And then, in the SEC for SEC football coaches, Bryant, Saban. Then we start getting into, some different things, but I don't know. Bear Bryant spoke highly of Vaught, just like Bertman speaks of Polk.
Yeah, and don't forget the time that has elapsed since both of those guys coached.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
It has been. But, we're talking about greatness here. Greatness, lasts. Greatness endures. No one's doubting the greatness of John Vaught. The greatest football coach in the state's history, no question about that. I got myself curious about what W.C. Gordon's record was as a coach. W.C. Gordon's record at Jackson State, 119-48-5, 8 SWAC titles. Obviously, didn't have the playoff success of those teams, but finished number 2 in the nation in 1978. I know it's a different level of football, but that's a pretty good record. What about Marino Kasem? Got myself curious. First off, when your nickname is the Godfather, you got something going on.
Yeah, that does help.
159, 93, and 8. At Alcorn, he was 138, 71, and 8, including he had 2 tenures at Alcorn. Is that right? No, just the one. He had 68, 69. He went 17, 1, and 1. Alcorn from 1968 to 1970 lost twice. That's not bad. That's not bad. He won his last SWAC championship in 1984. That's the year I've talked about where they played Valley in front of like 63,000 at Memorial Stadium. So, some great coaches here in the state, no question.
Did you say Margaret Wade already?
I did not. You could put her on the list though. As the guy says, the national championship trophy is named for her. That's a pretty good honor, in my opinion. Pretty good. So, some great coaches.
Why would you consider Ron Polk better than Mike Bianco? He's got, 5 more? I know Bianco has the national title, but Polk has, 5 more Omaha appearances?
More Omaha appearances.
I think.
Bianco's coming up on him in wins, I think, in terms of just maybe just at Mississippi State. I'm not entirely sure.
Polk has 1,373 wins.
Uh-huh.
Can I get Bianco before the break? Can I? I got 20 seconds. Can I do it?
1,090.
Bianco has 1,090.
So you'd have to coach like 6 more years, 5, 6 more years, maybe.
Keep coaching you.
We'll see. Back in just a minute.
Let the broadcasting of the disturbed continue.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Super Talk Mississippi.
Let's do this one. Michael Borkey, who is the greatest baseball player in Mississippi State history?
Oh, I have not the slightest clue.
All right, so I got to take over is what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, Jake
What's
Mangum?
the first name that comes to your mind? Is it Jake Mangum?
It's Jake Mangum.
Mangum can absolutely make a case. I think I'm not going to do pitchers, all right? State's got a lot of great pitchers. If you want to have the best pitcher in Mississippi State discussion, I'll have it with you between Jeff Brantley and Eric Dubose, Paul Mahalem, so many great ones, right? All the way up to Ethan Small. Tomas Valinkas might be on that list by this time next year. I got 5 guys that I vacillate between, right? So it's not really a Mount Rushmore. It's Clark, Palmeiro, Mangum, Rooker, and Tanner Allen. I can kind of take Brent Rooker out because Rooker had maybe the greatest season in Mississippi State history. He did win the Triple Crown, but it's just the 1 year. Like the year before that, he was good. He wasn't just a total game changer. Will Clark, Rafael Palmeiro, it speaks for itself. Jake Mangum is the all-time SEC hits leader. I always lean towards Tanner Allen. He had all the individual accolades, but he's the one who won a national title. That puts him over the top for me. I've said that many times. That maybe my most all-time hill to die on for Mississippi State stuff. I can't get a ton of people to agree with me, although there is already one guy on the C Spire text line. Somebody wants to mention Jay Powell. Love Jay Powell. Great friend of the show. I don't think Jay Powell would look me in the eye and be like, Brian, I would had a better career than Will Clark or Rafael Palmeiro did. He is a World Series champion, though. You give him that. I mentioned Roy Oswalt. Never played at State. What are we doing? Committed to State. Didn't play at State. So can't make the list.
Can't make the list.
No. Yeah. We're just going with State fans. We can't do that. Yeah. So for me, it's Tanner Allen. I did not say in Mississippi. I said Mississippi State. I'm positive that I did. Borky, is that what I said? Who is the greatest player in Mississippi State history? Not in Mississippi State history. Mississippi State.
That does get you in trouble. So, like when you talk about hospitals and stuff like that, or the Mississippi State House. What is it? A house down the street that's painted maroon? What are you talking about?
Exactly. Renfro over Rooker. No. Rooker won a Triple Crown his last year at State. He was he was second place in the Golden Spikes. Hunter Renfro, great player, but no, I can't get on board there. I can't. Who did more for State, Will Clark or Tanner Allen? Well, Tanner Allen won a national title, so Tanner Allen. Unless you're talking about financial donations, but that doesn't have anything to do with who's the better player.
The national championship just trumps so much of conversations like this.
I agree. I just the fact that he was the best player on the team that won the national title. Somebody saying no way. How is it no way? How is it no way? They're both All-American baseball players. One of them won a national title and one didn't. I mean, that's as simple as that. Finally, Hadad has a correct take. TA is the GOAT. But this guy is the guy who said that is not very bright. Rooker was a one-man wrecking crew. Very true. Clark means so much more to State. Nobody is arguing iconic. We're not arguing that. We're arguing who is the greatest player. But who did the most on the field?
You say he means more. Is that a product of time? I mean, would Tanner Allen, with the appropriate amount of time, also have that kind of look back in fond memory, or am I not understanding the
I don't
situation
know.
clearly.
I don't know. Somebody on the text line was like, by the way, Rafael Palmeiro was better than Will Clark, which you can make a really strong argument. Another Triple Crown winner. I hated to see who was that guy, Daniel Jackson, this year win the Triple Crown. Because it was the only two previous guys were Mississippi State guys. Now it's just all Bulldogs.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless of that, Tanner plays for the Bananas. He actually plays for the Coconuts, I'll have you know. But again, what are we talking about here? You're not grasping the discussion. That's what's happening right this second. We're talking about who is the greatest player in Mississippi State history. I'm not worried about what they did in the pros. I'm not worried about the money they've donated since then. I'm about on the field at Dudy Noble. Who had the best career? It's Tanner Allen.
More people watch the Savannah Bananas than the Minnesota Twins.
That's a good point. Bednar would be in my pitcher discussion. I don't think any question about that. Rebel fan, say here, it's Tanner Allen all the way. There you go. Best baseball team in Mississippi State history. As an Ole Miss fan, I say the 85 State team. That's the fun part about State. And it's true about Ole Miss, too. Their national championship teams, not anywhere close to their best teams. State's 85 team, State's 90 team. Is it 90? No, it's 89. State's 89 team went 54-14, lost in the regionals in Starkville. That's back when there weren't super regionals.
Well, Ole Miss's national title team was They had a bad 6 weeks, but
they're such a weird team, right? They finally started playing up to their potential when they had to.
And I hate what that's done to.
But that's not their best team ever. 05 and 09 are better teams. Maybe what's the other one? Is it 18? 18 that they lost to Tennessee Tech.
Yeah, but when you lose to Tennessee Tech in a regional, I
agree with that. But
discussion.
Regular season wise, that was a much better team than the 22 team. State's 2021 team, I thought 19 was better. I would say that obviously 85 and 89 were better. I would say 97 was better, but 21 won the national title. TA number 1, Raffy 2, Jake Mangum 3. So wow, Clark 4th. Please stop talking about Mississippi. First off, he said Mississippi A&M like that's a slam. It's football season. Have you missed what we've been doing today?
Well, it is football season.
It is football season. Have you missed what we've been doing today? Are you just now tuning in?
He very well could be just now tuning in.
Well, that's on you, buddy.
He could be.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. TA also never missed Omaha. That's a good point. Tanner Allen went to Omaha all 3 years he was at Mississippi State. Missed obviously the COVID year, but 19, 21, or 18, 19, and 21.
That means something.
It means something. Absolutely. COVID year, Rebs were loaded. That's a good point.
That team was so good.
Yeah.
That team was so good. That team was winning the national championship until, they didn't. Hang a banner.
Right.
Put it in the outfield wall. COVID champions.
This guy's throwing out Will Clark won the Golden Spikes. Tanner Allen was named the National Player of the Year. Kind of the same thing. Shout out to Connor Powers. That's a good one. Buck Showalter, only 1 year, but he still holds the all-time record for a batting average in a season. He had like 450. So we'll throw that out there. Help us out if you're listening, Southern Miss fans. Who's your all-time greatest baseball player? I feel like a pitcher is going to win here, right? Unless it's Brian Dozier.
That's going to be who it is. That will be the answer.
Tanner Hall, Nick Sandlin, J.B. Middleton. A lot of recent guys there for the Golden Eagles. I'd argue National Player of the Year is better than Golden Spike. They're the same thing. They're basically the same thing. It's like the difference between the Heisman Trophy and the Maxwell. Like the Heisman gets all the pub, but they're the same award, basically.
Which is kind of dumb that exists.
Somebody said Ray Guy. Is Ray Guy going to win 2 today?
He could.
He could, yeah. Mangum killed us. Couldn't get him out. Couldn't get a ball down around him, and I think he got the win in his last game against Ole Miss. I was at that. Not only did he get the win, he had an RBI in like the 9th. His last at bat against Ole Miss, he had an RBI double. So he did. Mangum's record against Ole Miss is 16-2. He one of the all-time Rebel killers, no question about it. Matt Wallner, you could say that for sure. Is it bad? I think Ray Guy is one of our greatest players. No, it's not. It's not bad at all. I don't know who Bill Greenlee is, but I'll take your word for that. Wallner's a good choice, though. Great player. Todd McInnes, somebody mentions him, willed USM to the College World Series. Got a text from a friend on that one. Oh,
a lot of good answers here, though.
Yeah. USM baseball, Jeff Cook. Only USM player on the all-decade team through 2010. Okay. Sorry, I just made up Bill Greenlee. I wanted to be involved. I mean, come on, guys. Help me out here. Adam Frazier for State now. No, great player, but no. Some good options here.
Some really good options here.
Who's the great? So, taking all that into account, who's the greatest player in Mississippi history? Is Tanner Allen the greatest player in Mississippi baseball history? Not. I guess. I mean, you have to take like Boo Ferris into account.
Yeah,
stuff like that. But in the modern era,
did he have a better career than Stephen Head though? He did win the national championship. Stephen Head did not, but Stephen Head was a three-time All-American.
Three-time All-American. Gosh, I don't know. Like my first thought is, would I put Stephen ahead of Clark and Palmeiro? I don't know that I would.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That is before my time here.
That is a debate, I guess, for another day. We'll wrap it up when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi.
In the Venable. Sports Talk Mississippi. Here's more. Super Talk Mississippi.
Hey, what's coming up on Thunder and Lightning here in a little bit?
Oh, I thought I had you today. Thought today was going to be the day. Somebody's brought up here that they have all of Mangum's stats against Ole Miss. He was 14-2. I misspoke. But he says it's incredible that Bianco only walked him 3 times. And I pointed out one of those was an intentional walk where he loaded the bases and put Mangum on to pitch to Luke Alexander, who hit a walk-off double. Should have pitched to Mangum. I guess it would have been about the same thing, though. What is coming up? I guess we'll talk about Jerron Manning and Malik Silla. We'll talk about Eddie Kelly. But let's try to talk about some actual football, too. And something I found online from State's scrimmage back in the spring that I want to bring to the show tonight. So we'll do that when we come back. When we go to Thunder and Lightning, we're going to talk about that on tonight's show. So only 10 days to football, so we got plenty of football to talk about.
Only 10 days to football.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really only 3 days to football.
Yeah, it's a good weekend. It really is for week 0. We've got some stuff. It is compelling enough. It is interesting enough for us to enjoy it. And I certainly will.
Yeah.
I know a lot of you out there will. I will hear no complaints about, the games aren't interesting.
Well, there are interesting games, though, this week. There are some interesting games. You got a playoff eliminator in week 0. Memphis, UNLV.
Feels like it.
Yeah. Huff versus Mullen, former MSU coach versus future MSU coach right there. Or maybe 2 future MSU coaches. Who knows?
You hope it's not 2 for a lot of reasons.
You never know, man, these days. Just don't know. Huff comes in, does what he always does. 1 year and he's gone.
Week 1 does not feature a ranked matchup on Saturday.
I'm here in the French Quarter. I mean the Cotton District. Yeah, he's the new head coach of the Saints.
I still can't believe that happened.
It's one of the funniest things we've ever had the privilege of playing here on this show.
My question about that, if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, Charles Huff was going to take the Memphis job. He knew he was going to take the Memphis job. Everybody knew he was going to take the Memphis job, but he still did a signing day press conference as the head coach at Southern Miss and said he was talking to a player and FaceTimed them and showed them Beale Street and then caught himself and was like,
The Rock.
The Rock.
Yeah.
But at that point, why didn't you just take the job? That's what I don't understand is you knew you were gone. Everybody knew you were gone.
Yeah.
Why'd you even go through that charade to put yourself in that position to begin with?
I don't know. That's an all-timer.
It's not like you had a playoff team to skip out on. You were done.
Kiffin was like, I didn't do that.
Yeah, this guy. And I'm only having the governor of the state orchestrate lawsuits. But seriously, though, could you imagine Tate Reeves being the puppet master of Mississippi State football?
It wouldn't be smart.
Could you imagine
that's
that?
The thing, though, is like he can't do it.
Can't. But just picture that for a second, though. That he was involved. He called all the shots. How you would feel about that? With all due respect to Tate Reeves, I'm not saying he'd do a great job or a bad job. It's just the fact that the governor is the puppet master of a college football program. The ambassador to Greenland. Isn't that what he is?
Yeah. Something like that.
What a joke. And they will be the only school in the Power Four to not vote in favor of former pros not coming back. They will be the only
It's also,
one.
like, Jeff Landry is the same guy who said when we get a new head coach, he's not going to have a ridiculous contract. Yeah. And then they hired Lane Kiffin. Like, guy just says whatever he wants.
He does whatever he wants.
He's a politician, which means he's a cheat and a liar. And when he's not out kissing babies, he's stealing their lollipops.
More on Mornings with Richard Cross.
Unfortunately.
We still have yet to hear anybody refer to it as Moron Mornings.
Moron Mornings with Richard Cross. It'll happen eventually.
I want to make a graphic for that.
He'll say something dumb. And, Cross is a smart guy. Smart as a whip, but...
He is, very much so.
He's just a person. He'll say something dumb eventually. And when that happens, I want you guys to jump on board. Moron Mornings.
Who was the quarterback?
What?
The quarterback. Stupid things that he has said over the years. The quarterback that he said was...
I don't remember this. What are we talking about? A quarterback for who? Ole Miss?
No, it was a college football quarterback that
said stupid things?
No, that Richard said something stupid about him, thinking that he looked a certain way, but he did not. Remember that?
Oh.
What quarterback was that?
Oh, I don't remember. I do remember what you're talking about now. Well, we had him that one time.
I've done worse than that.
Where he was like, Borkey, Florida is playing Texas? That's their other out-of-conference game? And we were like, hey, Richard.
Got news for you.
Yeah.
And I've done worse than that, too.
Yeah, we've both done worse. But.
His bad ones aren't that bad.
Yeah.
What a jerk. Yeah. I'm getting out. Hadad is going to continue on for the next hour for Thunder
I'll stay
and Lightning.
here. I'll stay right here. It's raining outside. I don't want to go.
I'll see you guys tomorrow at 3. Good night.
SuperTalk Mississippi Media Production.